Many of you ask, how do I know if what is happening now is part of the bridge of incidents? Is this movement a coincidence, a setback, or something that is actually leading me toward the fulfilled end? You imagine the end, and then something happens. A payment you were expecting is delayed. A new opportunity appears from an unlikely direction. An unexpected expense changes your immediate plans, while help arrives from somewhere you had not considered. Immediately you begin searching for meaning. Perhaps the event is part of the bridge. Perhaps it is only one moment to which you have given too much importance. The difficulty is that many people confuse a sign with movement, movement with fulfillment, and every disappointment with a hidden bridge. Then they begin studying each detail instead of living from the end they accepted. Tonight, let us answer those questions plainly. We will distinguish a sign from an incident from a bridge, and a natural response from an action driven by panic. You may not be able to name every step while it is happening, but you can learn how to meet it without confusion. Stay with me, and let us begin with what the bridge actually is. A bridge of incidents is the sequence of events that carries you from your present state to the end you have accepted inwardly. It is not necessarily dramatic, and it is rarely announced. Most often, it appears through ordinary life: conversations, delays, decisions, introductions, changes of plan, and actions that seem perfectly natural in the moment. This is where confusion begins. One event is not yet the bridge. A delayed payment is an incident. An unexpected offer is an incident. A change in someone's behavior is an incident. Any one of these may later prove to have belonged to the bridge, but the event alone cannot reveal its full meaning. The bridge is the sequence, not the isolated moment. Its meaning becomes clear by where the completed chain of events has led you, not by whether every step appeared favorable while it was happening. So do not demand that one incident explain the entire journey. When something changes, do not rush to name it. What matters is whether something has actually changed in the course of events, or whether you have merely encountered something that reminds you of the desire. A dream, a repeated number, or a phrase you happen to hear may feel personally meaningful, but it gives you nothing practical to do. Let it pass without making it proof. If something has truly changed, meet the change itself. A payment is delayed, so you make the necessary inquiry and arrange what must be handled now. A new opportunity appears, so you examine it carefully and give it an honest answer. An unexpected expense alters your plans, so you rearrange what can be rearranged. A help is offered, so you consider it without fear or desperation. The distinction is simple. Does the event place a clear next step before you? If it does, meet that step naturally, without trying to make one action produce the entire result. If nothing practical is being asked of you, do not invent a task merely because you want proof that the bridge has begun. One delay does not prove failure, and one opportunity does not guarantee fulfillment. Your task is not to identify or construct the whole bridge in advance. It is to meet what is actually before you, while remaining faithful to the end you have accepted. Once you understand how to respond to a single event, the next question is how a bridge begins to appear when several events form a direction. Imagine a man who has accepted the end of being securely employed. He applies for a position that seems ideal, but the company chooses someone else. At first, the rejection appears to contradict everything he imagined. Yet during the process, one manager remembers his qualifications and later recommends him to another department. That introduction leads to a second interview, and the second interview leads to a position better suited to him than the first. Only afterward does the sequence become clear. The rejection alone explained nothing. The recommendation was only a turning point. The second interview was not the bridge by itself. The bridge was the way each event redirected the next until the accepted end became fact. The same pattern may appear in a relationship. A meeting is canceled, and the first impulse may be to press for another meeting, demand an explanation, or conclude that everything has failed. Instead, the situation is allowed to rest. Later, a different conversation takes place under calmer circumstances, and the relationship changes in a way neither person could have arranged beforehand. Only then does the earlier cancellation acquire meaning within the larger sequence. This is why labels must be used carefully. A disappointment is not automatically part of the bridge, and a promising event does not automatically prove fulfillment. Its meaning becomes clearer only as one event connects with another. So when a new incident appears, do not ask it to reveal the whole journey. Meet the step before you and allow the meaning of the sequence to become clear in its own time. The difficulty then is not crossing the bridge. It is resisting the urge to explain every step while you are still upon it. The mind wants certainty before the sequence is complete. It wants to know whether this delay is useful, whether this opportunity is the one, whether this change means the end is near. But your work is not to interpret every incident. Your work is to remain faithful to the end and meet life as it comes. When something real is placed before you, respond to it. When nothing is required, leave the matter alone. Do not manufacture movement merely because stillness makes you uneasy. Let ordinary life carry you. Let conversations, decisions, interruptions, and unexpected turns reveal their connection in their own time. You do not need to see the whole bridge in order to take the step beneath your feet. So remember this. Do not make one incident your promise, and do not make one delay your defeat. Remain with the end you have accepted, and allow the sequence to complete itself. Now, let us go into the silence.